Hello and welcome to lesson 5. This is commentary made after the recording because the mic quality corrupted. I didn't plug in the mic correctly and all you can hear was static. So without further ado, let's proceed. So first I changed in the message box in CMD next click in transfer. I changed it to please input code VB information and then added speaking on top of it. Then I made a quick adjustment to the transfer form. I just made it a bit smaller before adding another form. The other form was pininput, which will be used for authentication. I then pasted in the template into pininput code, made it speak input pin to verify transaction because that's what it's gonna be for. Then removed me.init from form load and fixed that in the form because it should be me.hide, not me.init. Saved the corrected template. Then quickly made the input pin interface. It has a text box and two buttons, CMD back and CMD next. The text box is called txt input. So basically I made it if the pin length is not 4, then it says incorrect pin length and also shows a message box with that message. If the length is correct, then it just says message box cobble pin verification here, and then clears the form. And in public sub init I also added the hiding of the pin so that you can just look at it and see. Then I quickly ran a test and saw that it works. Like upon clicking submit and transfer, it opens pin verification. Then I quickly fixed and if error. Then changed the font in input pin text box to a larger font. Added and if to CMD next and then ran a quick test. It turned out I wrote say instead of speak, so it just said the function is not defined, so I fixed that. Then ran some more tests and then added the two booleans into the global module. Is finished as boolean and is showing cover as a boolean. Basically the showing cover is gonna be like some ATMs have ads before you start doing any operation, so they just, for example, show how good their bank is or something. They have like something like a screensaver, so that's what is showing cover is gonna be for. In CMD next, you set the flag to false. And then once you finish, it is supposed to say thank you for using Mount ATM. But then I had an error and I solved it later, where I had if is finished equals false, then it said thank you for using Mount ATM. See, if is finished equals false. Yeah, so I set that to true and it fixed the error. So then I pasted some code from user input into transfer, removed the flags from user input, then changed the text to be correct, and also at the top of transfer I added is correct boolean. So then I fixed the text, length, etc, etc. Then added that the is correct flag is set to false if the input was incorrect. Then close the loop made another loop where it proceeds with the code if the isCorrect flag is set to true. Then tested that. Yes, it worked. The bank account length was incorrect. So that's it for this video, and next video is still gonna be Visual Basic 6 frontend, but this time I'm gonna be fixing things like some variables being string instead of long, and so on, just making it callable ready, and also adding comments where callable functions need to be, and noting which callable functions I need to make. So it's basically gonna be like preparing the front end for callable.